Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok @Dominion Broadcast and on X @DominionCasts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Another beautiful morning to talk sport right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Welcome to another exciting edition right here on the show. I am Paul Abe Toluwanimi, and I'll be taking you on a journey into the world of sports. We'll look at the local stories, you know how we did on the show, from the MPFL. Shooting Stars are getting victories back-to-back on the bounce. Also, we'll be looking at the Flamingos right there, and also we'll be taking a look at the game between Morocco and Argentina, where they were crowned champion at the Under-20 World Cup in Chile. All this and more. And Manchester United are finally getting a victory against Liverpool since 2016. And Liverpool finally losing to Anfield after 400 games. All this and more on the show. I have the expert analyst himself, Samson Balogun, and also Fola Yegbe, will be joining us on the show at this wonderful morning. First, Samson, good morning to you.
Well, top of the morning to you, Toluwani, and of course, top of the morning to you, our esteemed viewers out there. It is another fantastic Monday morning to talk sports on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Do not forget that, as we always say on this style, weekends are for actions, Mondays are for reactions, and that's definitely what we are going to do on this show. There's a lot to dissect. Some things happened over the weekend, and you know, beyond some people's imagination, they did happen. I told you Morocco was going to defeat Argentina, and boom, it happened. Yeah, it happened. And so many other results like that.
But what you did not tell me was Manchester United would win against Liverpool.
Well, I said in my hand in a draw, but I wasn't too sure if Liverpool was going to gain, end up being victorious, because we both know there were two trying teams. They were both facing challenges. Liverpool, in the last 4 games, they have not been too convincing. They have had losses back-to-back. For Manchester United, it's not like they have had 4 or 5 games, losses, but they have been inconsistent. They win today, they lose tomorrow. So you really cannot predict what will happen the next game.
Yeah, true.
But most definitely, they were able to convince the people that with these few points we have raised and the few goals scored, we have been able to convince you that Manchester United defeated Liverpool. Defeated Liverpool over the weekend.
All right. What a way to go. What a way to kick off the show. Let's start off from the local front this morning, where Wadi Wolves, Kun Khalifat, shocked Giant in an away win as Tornadoes run riot. A training round of fixtures in the Nigeria Premier Football League saw Wadi Wolves and Kun Khalifat pull off shock away victories, while Niger Tornadoes delivered the most dominant performance of the weekend with a 4-0 thrashing of Plateau United. Tornadoes hit Plateau for 4 at the Amadou Bello Stadium, and Niger Tornadoes were in scintillating form as they dismantled Plateau United with a commanding 4-0 win. The rout was capped off with a stoppage time striker from Tedo, adding gloss to an already emphatic scoreline. Wadi Wolves, Kun Khalifat, Stone Eyimba, and Bayelsa United. Wadi Wolves claimed the statement, a 2-1 win over Eyimba in Aba, stunning the home fans and ascertain their ambition in the league. Elsewhere, Kun Khalifat pulled off a dramatic 2-1 victory over Bayelsa United in Yenagua after Uche Moses opened the scoring in the 54th minute for the visitors. Bayelsa United, Jord Mustafa leveled from the penalty spot in the 62nd minute, but Michael Akano netted the defensive goal in the 77th minute to seal the win for Kun Khalifa. Shooting Stars, Kwara United had record home wins in Ibadan. Shooting Stars 3SC Football Club secured a 2-1 win over Abia Warriors with Kamau Adegoke adding a second goal late in the 86th minute to wrap up the point. Kwara United edged Katsina United 1-0 thanks to an 80th minute winner from Ibrahim Yahaya, while Barwa completed a comeback to defeat Kano Pillars in a 2-1 win in Kano. Stanley Agbamo scoring the decisive goal in the 76th minute. Elsewhere, El Kanemi Warriors won 2-1 to Wiki Torres. Ikorodu City defending the top of the table leaders, Nasarawa United. There you have it on the screen. Samson Balogun, fantastic weekend right there in the MPFL match day 9. Lately, we have been seeing teams pick up results away from home. And when we talk about results, we look at some teams that you're wondering how did they do it this season and how are they keeping up the momentum for themselves. Fantastic one right here, to see Shooting Stars also pick up that one. But before we head straight to Shooting Stars, let's look at some key games in the match day 9 in the fixtures. We saw Ikorodu City getting a victory on their home turf against Nasarawa United. Was that one game you were expecting that Ikorodu City would pull that one off to get over to the point?
Well, let me borrow from the assertions of the Abia Warriors coach in Ibadan yesterday. Said, as crazy as it is, The only league in the world that every of the 20 teams on the log believe they can win the league is the NPFL. So let me now go back to what you asked. You know, it's just funny that in Nigeria that we always believe, you know, teams don't deserve to lose, or because they are top of the log, or they should win all games. Even in the EPL, even the German Bundesliga, the French Ligue 1, it doesn't happen that way. Even league leaders also lose. As big as Paris Saint-Germain is in the French Ligue 1, they lose, even Bayern Munich. So Nassau United is no different to any of the teams on the log. They are just better when it comes to results they have been able to gather this season, and you know, that's just a loss they will have to contend with, and then go back to the drawing board and see exactly where the problem is coming from. Don't forget that you know, in the NPFL, it is most times certain that when you travel away from home to play on the road, you are most definitely not likely to get your favorite result, which is a victory. You might end up getting a draw, maybe eventually losing the game. But for Nassau United, they tried, but they failed against Ikorodu City, slumping to two goals against Ikorodu City. I mean, you have to see those goals. I mean, it's not like you know, it's no rocket science. Fantastic. Oparocha got first start for the team. Beautiful. Fantastic goal. What a beautiful finish. I mean, his quality is never in doubt, and he proved that. That was his first start for Ikorodu City, and that's one of the things they have missed so far this season. We have seen them churn out draws and draws and draws in this season. And then probably they needed a breath of fresh air in attack, and that came, and that fantastic goal against the league leaders came to play.
There you have it. Also, you look at Barua with against Kano Pillars. For you, did this one stun you actually? Looking at the situation with Kano Pillars, was that one of the major reasons why they could not pick up points against the newbie coming to this one?
Unfortunately, when I saw the Kano Pillars goal, I thought, oh, they got a goal. Maybe they could get one or two more goals and then seal victory. Maybe at least get the points deducted from the the past week from Barao FC. But unfortunately, they scored. They eventually leaked at the back. I mean, it's really a disappointing one for a Kano Pillars. I mean, one of the pillars. Well, they call them Kano Pillars, but I call them one of the pillars of the NPFL.
but currently, the Pillars is shaking now. It's not strong anymore.
In fact, it's the Pillars is more or less not different from Robus as we speak. You can just call them the debris of the NPFL. I mean, it's really
the whipping boys now.
The whipping boys as we speak. I mean, that's for me is really disappointing. And it just highlights the failure of the management, the failure of the technical crew, and most definitely the failure of the players in charge. I mean, it's just it's really disheartening to see Kano Pillars in this kind of situation. First, they were deducted points even after they have struggled so far this season, and then the next game after that. The only thing that can summarize this is that the players, the technical crew, and even the management are currently in a terrible state. I mean, I don't think they are motivated well enough to churn out the best kind of results. And if this is not taken care of now, if the mental capacity of the players is not charged up, if the coach does not change tactics or maybe think of a different approach, if the management does not think of how to motivate these players better, I think they are heading for disrepute, and they are heading for destruction, and that's exactly the situation they are right now. You have a player and a manager who occupies both capacity, who should know better. Unfortunately, he's not the coach. You see, I was while having a chat with the Abia coach Warriors yesterday. He said, "Look, I have capacity over tactics. Oh, play 4-3-3, play 4-2-3-1, play this, play that. Unfortunately, I don't have capacity over technique. Technique belongs to the players. So if they are not technical enough to get things done on the field of play, that becomes the problem of the coach. Unfortunately, the coach does not have the ability to sort that out. So the coach is in trouble. Right now, of all the blames you can pass in the world to whoever you want to pass it will land first on the table of the coach. And most definitely, I don't see him getting past 2-3 games without a victory, and he doesn't get sacked. Okay. That's the situation.
All right. A quick one before we move straight to the talking point in the MPFL, which is going to be Shooting Stars game. There you have it on the screen. Warri Wolves against Eyimba United. Another shocking victory away from home for Warri Wolves. For you, honestly, for me, I already saw Eyimba as a contender for this season. But in the last two games, it's been a struggle for them. Right there, Warri Wolves picking an away victory victory against, Eyimba. Also, Kwara United picking up a victory against Castina, and you have Niger Tornadoes against Plateau United. But before that, let's talk about the two newbies. We've spoken about Abara already. Yes, Kun Khalifat picking up a away victory against Bayelsa United.
I mean, as shocking as it is, you can't say it's shocking. Bayelsa United came to Ibadan. Got first game of the season, got a result, maximum 3 points, and went back home with 3 points and 1 goal. And since then, it has not been all rosy for Bayelsa United. That just highlights how weak 3SC was in the first game of this season. Now, moving on from there, they played against Kun Khalifat that just recently defeated Eyimba Football Club of Aba. I mean, that is enough statement for Bayelsa United that Kun Khalifat's main business. If you watched the video where the chairman of the club was celebrating yesterday, he said, look, I made a statement, I made a promise that was true Ifeanyi Adamena, who left Remo Stars to become, I think, the sporting director or coordinator with Kun Khalifat. We made a statement that we were coming to the MPFL. We came. And this is another statement that we want to play the Continental. And that's exactly the next goal. So they are showing signs that, they are not leaving the league this season. That's most certain. If you are promoted for the first time, one thing you first of all do is to look for stability. Let's remain in the league. And the following season, you look at how you can place high, and the following one, maybe play on the continent. So they have a project. And as it stands, the project is working. 6 points in the last 2 games, against Eyimba, against Bayelsa United. Tell me what exactly you are looking for from Kun Khalifat that they are not doing. One thing is certain. If Kun Khalifat can get 35 points or 30 points maximum, 30 points in the first stanza of the league. If they can get 30 points, which is not likely, but if they can get that, that means they are not going back to where they come from. They have cemented their place in the either they finish 17th, 16th, or 15th. At least they are remaining in the league. That gives them the opportunity to re-strategize and see how well they can perform the following season. But, as it stands, they are doing fantastically well. Congratulations to them. But for Bayelsa United, it's not looking too good.
All right. Let's move away from there. Let's talk Shooting Stars Football Club. Coach Nuruddin Aweroro is having to go back to the books and look at the structure, of his system right there coming from Ikorodu City and now implementing these games. Also, credit to the players, putting in the work on the field of play and getting out the results right there and giving hopes again to the fans of Shooting Stars. After we talk about it, we're going to go back to the table and look at what the table is looking like right now. But we have this on the screen already. This is Shooting Stars' fantastic game yesterday. You give credit to the players, you give credit to the technical crew. For you, Samson, I'm sure you were at the stadium yesterday. And how exciting was this game for you against Abia Warriors? And what is the momentum going into more games to come for Shooting Stars at this point in time?
The first 20 minutes of the game would arguably be the best performance of Shooting Stars so far this season. I mean, it looks like a training session. I mean, they were, the deft touches, the more or less like a training drill, the swift passes, everything was going on smoothly, and then, boom, they got the first goal.
Amazing.
But then, something happened. Just like we have always said, sometimes Shooting Stars plays 20-25 minutes and then go back to sleep.
They look like the Man U of
And then you begin to wonder, what exactly is the problem? Yeah. But I think I was able to unravel that yesterday, while in the press conference, the coach was asked a few questions, but it wasn't the direct question, but he touched it. He said, this is also one of their approaches. It's a tactics that they invite you to come and then they hit you on the counter. So they let you play, and then you think you are in control, and before you know it, there is Ayodele Ismail who hits you on the counter, or there is a Promise Awosomi somewhere who takes the run, Kabiru Tijani with the deft passes. So he said it's an approach, which I want to believe it's an approach. It's one of their tactics and game plan. Yes, understood, but it was a fantastic game for Shooting Stars against Abia Warriors. Yeah. I mean, when you look at Abia Warriors and how they are placed on the log, what it tells you is that Shooting Stars defeated one of the contenders for the league this season. And it didn't look, so simple as it is on the scoreline. Shooting Stars had to work their socks off. Yeah. They had to put in the effort, and they did. If you look at the substitutions made by Shooting Stars, by the coach, you would understand the fact that he knew where to plug in per time. There were times Kabiru Tijani was, he started on a bright note, and by the 60th minute, he was already misplacing passes, and the coach had to bring him off, bring in a different player entirely. At the point, the coach had to show up his defense, bring in an extra man in defense, and gave room for Wooten to move forward a little bit. You know, as they play, the shape changes. So 1 minute you are seeing them playing 5 at the back, the next minute they are playing 4, the other player is already supporting the midfield. I mean, that was fun. Brilliant approach to the game by Coach Nuruddin Aweroro. And in attack, you know, Sadiq Ibrahim wasn't up and doing. He signaled to the coach in the first half that he wasn't getting it right, or probably wasn't feeling too fine. And he was subbed off immediately. You know, they were to resume the second half. Kamara Adego came on board. And they showed exactly why the coach, trusted him for the last 45 minutes of the game. He got a goal. I mean, kudos to Ismail Ayodele, who was in a fantastic position to actually, you know, get past the next defender and then shoot. But it was just magnanimous enough to just lay the ball to Kamara Adego, who slot him, you know, quite easily. And a big kudos to the Abia Warriors goalkeeper, former Shooting Stars player Okemote Oda. You know, it probably would have been about 4-0 or 5-0. But Okemote stood tall, you know, in between the sticks and said, no, you are not getting past me. I was telling someone that, look, if you are shooting from outside, you are wasting your time against Okemote Oda. Just take the ball close to him because he's a fantastic goalkeeper, especially with outside shots. And he showed in the first half about 3 or 4 shots, it was just there. Even in the second half, he made some fantastic saves. And if I am to name the player of the match, I'm probably going to say Okemote Oda. Unfortunately, they lost that game. If they had gotten at least 1 point for that game, it would have been the man of the match. And you know, that's how Shooting Stars got their first goal. It almost looked like a training drill. They passed until Ayobami Junior passed the ball into the net. So it wasn't like a shot. He just, you know, just placed the ball in the net. Properly. Though the goalkeeper was, you know, on-rushing, but fortunately for Ayobami Junior, he got there first and they just tapped the ball into the net. So it's, I think the Shooting Stars are getting it right. Their last set of games, they won 3 on the bounce, got a draw, and then another victory. That's 5 games without a defeat. That's enough to tell you that, you know, Shooting Stars are a team to take serious in the league this season.
All right, let's look at the log of the table quickly. You have Nasarawa United sitting first on the log of the table. There you have it on the screen. Nasarawa United 19 on the log of the table, 9 games played, 6 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses on the bounce. Also, finally, you have Shooting Stars. Samson Balogo, all smiles. You see the grin right now. 9 games, 4 wins on the bounce, back to back. You have 2 draws and 2 losses this season, 15. And like the captain said, Abia Warriors have the chance of title contender, just like you said, also with 15 points on the log of the table. Niger Tornadoes, we have Ikorodu City is a battle already this season, and we hope to see our darling Shooting Stars top that one. Also, at the log of the table, you have Plateau United, Barrow sitting there. You have Benin Insurance. Not looking good for the Pillars, the Kano Pillars, and Samson said they're already Kano Rumbles. We hope they're in trouble at this point in time.
It's crystal clear that they're in trouble.
It is.
Yes, they have 1 game in hand. If they win that takes them to 8 points. And 8 points is not even enough to take you out of the relegation zone as we speak. It can only place you maybe just at 13th position, but that drops a little bit down there. But it's still, you are still within that, you know, the relegation zone. Okay. So it's really sad to see Kano Pillars in that situation. We do hope that you know, they can actually turn things around.
I agree. All right, tomorrow we'll be giving you the update from Coach Nuruddin Aweroro at the press conference. We'll give you that video and also the highlights from that game yesterday at the Lakers Salami Stadium. But let's take more updates, Samson Balogun, and it's not too good for our boys right there. The CAF second preliminary game right there of the CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns trashed Remo Stars 5-1 in the CAF Champions League opener. And yesterday I had a playback video on my head of Honorable Kunle Shoname speaking the podcast, you know, saying this. We'll come to that, Samson. I'm sure.
That was one of my talking points.
Actually, I know you're going to talk about that, and I know you're going to use that as your talking point. But let's take this story. Mamelodi Sundowns claimed the decisive 5-1 win over Remo Stars in the first leg of the CAF Champions League, a second preliminary round at the MK Abiola International Stadium in Abeokuta. Nigeria on Sunday. Goals from Tariq, Matthew, Peter Shaliu, Miguel Resano, Otto Sales, and also Teski Natsaberg secured the victory for Simon Olashukpo scoring a Remo Stars lone goal. The result gives the Sundowns a strong advantage ahead of the return leg in Pretoria right there on October the 26th. Something there you have that one on the screen. You look at the result also for Rivers United not picking the victory, in Mozambique. Also, Remo Stars not picking up the victory. For you, come on, what's it looking like for our boys right there at the CAF?
You see, for Rivers United, it's not totally over for them. As it stands, they currently, still have an advantage. They are coming back home to play their own territory, just like Black Bulls, took their chances, got the maximum results, away from home. Rivers United can also do that. But how many goals can Rivers United score, against Black Bulls? That's the question. But now, moving on, Rivers United is just a case that is yet unsolved. But for, Remo Stars, it's a solved case already. I don't know where you all got, the idea from that Remo Stars was going to, probably win against.
Who are the you all? Because I am one that did not believe Remo Stars would defeat Mamelodi Sundowns right there at the MK.
I don't know where some of our viewers got the idea from that they were going to defeat Mamelodi Sundowns. Now let me break this down.
Even when the graphic designer he made the graphics. For the lineup, and he did a 5. So
they knew what they were doing.
There you have it.
See, let me just be lenient enough with Remo Stars.
Yeah.
You see, Remo Stars is a fantastic team, great coach, the technical crew are top notch. But then, if you are playing against there are 2 or 3 factors that were against Remo Stars. Now, the South African League cannot be compared to the MPFL as we speak. I will cite my reasons. 2, they were playing against a national team. Because if you take 9 players from the starting 11 of a particular national team,
I'm of contrary opinion. Because we're also going to listen to Coach Miguel Cardoso speaking of just what you said.
Let me now cite this for you. Majority of the players who are in the South African national team, they are drawn from 3 teams, and about 60% of them are from Mamelodi Sundowns. About 30% of them are from Kaizer Chiefs. And the remaining 10, maybe for Baroka Swallows or a few Orlando Pirates and the likes. So, the truth of the matter is, there is no way you can do it. Mamelodi Sundowns are stronger than Remo Stars. And the other reason I said was against Remo Stars was because if you look at our league, for South African players, they rarely travel. You hardly see them out there. Cite another player that you have seen out there, aside from these 3 in the last 5 years. That was Steven Pienaar, who retired a few years ago. Bongani Khumalo played for Tottenham Hotspur at the point. I want to remember this young guy that went to Belgium and then came back home. I will try to remember his name. Fantastic player. Was in England at the point, didn't do too well, had to come back to South Africa. Now, what I'm trying to say is, majority of the players are well remunerated. They are well oiled. They are being oiled. They are more or less like a machine.
They are paid. Foster. Yes. Les Foster for Burnley.
Ron Williams is the first choice goalkeeper for the South African national team. He's the goalkeeper for Mamelodi Sundowns, for crying out loud. Even Ahon Nwabali does not play for Yimba. He plays in South Africa. Now, what I'm trying to say is, at every given opportunity when our own players get to travel, they even choose to go to Iraq to play football, when they could have actually stayed. Why are they not staying? Because they know that the value of the dollars they are going to get there is way better than the naira they will get in Nigeria. So they don't want to stay at home. But the South Africans stay at home and they get well paid. There is football sponsorship. Football is more or less like a religion. It's a cult in South Africa. Have you seen their stadium when they are playing the Soweto Derby? When you are seeing Mamelodi Sundowns playing against Kaizer Chiefs, they don't throw the stadium open for you to come and watch free. You pay, and you pay premium to see them play. Even the regular seat is not regular on a day like that for derbies. You pay extra just for you to have a seat at the stadium. Some even prefer to stand. But look at the stadium. As much as we are saying, Shooting Stars, they have made, they sell so much tickets, they say 8,000 tickets. Is that the capacity of the stadium? No, it is because even as cheap as the ticket is, okay, compare the basic tickets you buy in Ibadan, 500 naira, to the basic you will see in South Africa. It's about 3,000, 5,000, 6,000 naira if you convert to Nigerian naira to watch a game. Can we do the same here? Even our own VIP is 5K, right? That's the state box. It's 5,000 naira. And that will be bought for about 15,000, 20,000 naira in South Africa if you compare in terms of currency. Now, what I'm trying to say in essence is that Now, there is investment there. So it is likely that their players are well paid. The football is run smoothly. So in terms of everything, even for the players who are coming, right, by the name, just like the Egyptian national team of about 10 years ago, when you have Osama El Adari, you have Zidane, you have some other players, you know, quality, fantastic players like that who were playing for the Egyptian national team. Trezeguet also was a fantastic player. They were in the same national team. Mohamed Abu Trika. These are quality players. But they were playing in the Egyptian National League at the time. So when they say, oh, Egypt is parading home-based players, but they were beating you that you are parading foreign-based players.
Yeah, I agree.
And they were doing that fine. Without controversy. They are not even struggling to defeat you. So what tells you is that the quality of your league determines how well you do on the continent and on the world scene. So that is the display. See, the disparity between our league and the South African league was on display in Ijebu-Ode. And there's no crisis about that. So where anybody got it from, that Remo Stars was capped, even the chairman said it, and you heard him loud and clear, because he saw the statistics, and he saw what it entails to play against the Mamelodi Sundowns, a certain Kaizer Chiefs, you know, there are other teams like that, you know, some other Algerian teams that when you play against them, you know you are on the you are definitely going to lose. Look at the Algerian national team. About 50% of their players, they still play in the local league.
I agree.
And when they play against you, you will never tell that this player play at home. Now, what I'm trying to say is the best legs in Nigeria, they have traveled. And the ones we celebrate here today, they are the average that won't even enter Kaizer Chiefs in South Africa. They are the average. Let me cite an instance. There are some of our players, you know, that have traveled and they have had to come back home. Why? They could not meet up. I told you a story of a friend of mine, fantastic player, went to Aspire in Dubai, and then when he came back, I said, look, how far? He said, Oga, I'm playing at Paul. There are plenty players in the world, though. Meaning that there are quality players better than he knew he was at the time. So if you are, what we are seeing today is the average that they are seeing there. What we see as quality here is the average they are seeing over there. So the disparity is there. It is crystal clear that we are not close. The league is not close. And we have to bridge that gap before it's too late. And that comes with remuneration of the players. Keep your best legs at home. Pay them well. Comparable to what they can get out there. So if you are not doing what is obtainable out there, here, then it's a problem.
All right. Come on. If I give Samson Balogun the chance to speak about this result yesterday, we'll go on, and it will bring us back, you know, to the system that we have in Nigeria. But let's listen to the head coach of the Mamelodi Sundowns. That's the Brazilian coach himself, Miguel Cardoso, reacting to their victory in Nigeria. There you have Miguel Cardoso speaking after the game against the Remo Stars. We'll be back to discuss more in the world of sports.
Our players, they are Mamelodi Sundowns players, and it's not South Africa playing. It's Mamelodi Sundowns. It's not Bafana Bafana. It's Mamelodi Sundowns. It's a different moment. Obviously, that the players had a good moment during the week. We all had a good moment, but this was another story to be written on this first match. My impression is that we took it very serious, that we related with the need that we had to make an approach tactically very clear, considering the study we had from Remo Stars. And it's curious because exactly the first goal we scored is one space that we knew that we could use to find a free player to kick. And not easy to play against a team that has a lot of man-to-man marking in all over the pitch. We had to find the pass breakthrough a lot of times, so find the third man so that we could find a free player. A lot of mobility. I think that the players understood very well what we put it in work since the day we gathered to prepare this match. And then was a matter of keeping attitude, because to score today 5 goals to a team that is champion of Nigeria is not easy. Of course, that we could have not conceded any, but I think it's also fair to take this result. But also it's important that we understand that this is the first match. Of course, there's a big difference on the score, but we respect football. And to respect football is to go on the second match with approach as serious as possible, because also we have responsibility, and the match and the qualifying round is not finished. And for sure, Mamelodi Sundowns will be as serious on the second match as we were today. So congratulations to my players for the work they did, for the commitment they had. Even at halftime, we spoke a lot about the energy that was needed to bring on second half, even being ahead by 2. Well, and I think that the message entered well their heads, and then they had the commitment, the heart enough to fight until the last to make it the score as big as possible. Let's travel home, rest as much as possible. It was not easy to come here, but I think we did it the right way. So, thank you very much.
There you have it. Miguel Cardozo speaking after the victory against Remo Stars. He has so much to say, Balogun. I'm just going to give you just a few words because I know you have so much to say about that press conference. But for you, what was the talking point that you could pick, from Miguel speaking ahead of this one quickly?
You see, what I'm afraid of, in his post-match remark was that, they were going to do enough to score as big as possible. I mean, what is the fate of a team that conceded 5 goals at home and then traveling to South Africa? And they still want to score. Are we out already? And they still want to score more. I mean, that's not a question you should ask me. That's it's obviously there.
The question I'm asking you, so why am I asking the question? Because you are the expert analyst. So
I'm Daniel Ogumodedi.
Yeah.
And, Kunle Shoname, they know by now that this is the end of the road for them in the CAF Champions League. And it's rather unfortunate that we are seeing this happening, to Nigerian teams on the continent.
Too early.
There's no way you will be rated, and there's no way we'll be seeded for any competition if we get whipped this way every now and then. So it's actually challenging. But my own concern is not really about, how well or how handsomely they were defeated. Is the fact that he had some remarks about the Nigerian pitch, which for me is really disappointing because, this pitch was adjudged to be okay by CAF to host a competition like this. Unfortunately, the players and the coach came and said, look, this is way different to what we know and what we play on in South Africa.
That's a big statement.
That's a slight dig. Slight dig on Nigeria, Nigerians, and most definitely the Nigerian football scene.
But come on, Remo Stars are working on their pitch.
You see, that's why I still think Remo Stars is the only serious team in the NPFL. I'll continue to say that. If you look at what they do, and the situation of things, and how, I mean, nobody told them their pitch is not of standard. They just chose at this point, we do not have. We think we should do better. And they decided to spend their own money on their own stadium just to be there. Unfortunately, it was not ready in time for this competition. So one of the challenges they also faced is that they were playing away from home. And, when you are home and you are away, that's another challenge. We have seen it happen. It happens to Kwara United when they played against Asante Kotoko. They were playing at home, but it seemed like they were playing away from home. If you look at the stadium yesterday, you saw empty seats at the stadium. So what happened? It means that even people still did not come in. And that's challenging for African football. So if you want to perform, one of the things you want to do well is that the 12th player must be on the field. And when the 12th player is missing, then it's more or less like a disservice to your team playing at home. So when the fans are not there, who are considered to be the 12th, to be the 12th player on the field, then it becomes challenge. And unfortunately for them, they lost 1-5. Well, when they get to South Africa, they should just make sure that they reduce the margin to as little as possible. They should not concede too much in South Africa.
All right. I'll definitely will be back here to analyze that game going into South Africa against Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm sure Samson Balogun will be here to talk about how far and how well they can achieve victory, because nothing is impossible in football. I believe that also. I believe that. All right. Let's move away from that and let's talk about the Flamingos. They didn't start off too good. Samson Balogun, massive weeping yesterday against Canada. There you have it, 4-1. And I remember your words play on my head every time I look at some results over the weekend. And you said something when they had their last friendly. You said they are chipping goals easily. And there you have it, something, it happened again. And you made a statement saying one thing, Olowookere needs to work on, with his side is defensively. They need to, sit compact. And when you watch the highlight, because we're going to play the highlight for, the fans to watch after this video, you look at it and you're wondering what is actually going on with the back line of defense. But the game ended in defeat for the Flamingos. I know it's going to be a step in order going into the next game, but for you, this one did not turn out well for the Flamingos.
It's really unfortunate. They went behind and, got a goal back, and eventually they capitulated and considered 3 goals after. So it ended 1-4 in favor of the Canadian team. You see, when I made that assertion, I saw how they played when they were, during the qualifiers. I saw how they played when they were playing their friendlies, and I knew for sure that, the coach had made some changes to the team. He had, made some touches to suit. I mean, you can imagine this kind of, silly mistake by the goalkeeper.
I was wondering what's going on.
For me, I mean, even Andre Onana wasn't this bad. But,
come on. Come on, Manchester United are getting the jabs right now. Why? Come on.
You see,
Go ahead.
The coach just wanted to, play flexible football, suited for the world stage, but forgot that before you qualified for the World Cup, you had a style.
Yeah.
You had an approach. Why don't you start from there? And during the game, when you have a reason to switch tactical role play, then you can do that. But you don't start playing flamboyant football against a team like Canada, who they play fluid, free-flowing football, and they can score anytime. And in fact, they capitalize on mistakes. Majority of their goals came from defense splitting passes, which happens to be a mistake from the defense line, flat-footed defense. The others came from errors from the goalkeeper. I mean, what is this? What is going on? It was meant to be a back pass. You could have actually kicked the ball out of the, your penalty zone. You left the ball, and then boom, just a shot, and the ball is in the net. So it's not. I want to be clear now. This is not as a result of the brilliance of the Canadian team, but as a result of the error committed by the team.
Player,
if you look at this, the last goal, the goalkeeper could have actually narrowed it down for the player to make, striking mistakes. So when you come close a little bit, then you are giving a difficulty in thinking on where to place the ball. So it could have actually hit you, and your defenders will clear the ball. But she stayed back instead of coming forward. I mean, that's really a defensive error.
Even the goal was scored also, the scrambled goal.
It was a scrambled goal.
Yeah, come on.
He has to go back to the drawing board. For whatever he thought he learned while playing the last 2 friendly games, he should unlearn and relearn. Go back to how you used to play. They used to be very strong in defense, considered less goals. I mean, what is this right now? I mean, it's really annoying to see this. This reminds me of a certain Saudi Arabian team whitewashed by, Germany. I think that was 8 goals or 9 goals at the World Cup. That's exactly what was playing in my head when I saw this video.
Okay, that's Brazil now.
And then this says another thing about the game in Brazil 2014, when Germany ran riot and started scoring goals back to back like it was a training session. So for me, this almost turned to a shooting practice. Thank God for the referee that ended the game. If they added more time, maybe we probably would have spelled Nigeria. But the fact that we were able to pin it down to
I agree with you.
4 goals to 1, I mean, that's still okay. Right. But the coach really need. Well, I saw this coming, actually.
You did.
I saw it.
On Friday, you spoke about it. You did.
You should see. You don't just change your approach because you saw something new. You change because the situation on ground warrants it. You set up against Canada the way you know how to do it, not the way you learned a few games ago. So it's the coach has made some mistakes, and I know you will definitely correct that in the next game. Unfortunately, if they play this way in the next game, they should probably be booking their tickets and come back home.
All right. We hope that the Flamingos were able to pick up a victory in their
defensive
second game.
Crisis.
Honestly speaking, it's just defensive error from that game against Canada. We hope for the very best for the girls right there. Let's move away from that. We're still talking female football. It's that time of the year again. The CAF Award nominees. And we are representing massively. There you have the screen. It's that time of the year again. Let's look at the nominees quickly. Let's take that one before we wrap up the show. We're ending the show with Morocco. Fantastic one. I'm so excited, but let's take this one. Club of the Year, the women's side, there you have it. We have Bayelsa Queens topping that one. A big one for Bayelsa Queens, Samson Balogun. I'm sure if it's possible, we might be able to nick this one through right there. Let's look at more and more, nominees quickly as we look forward to the CAF Award in 2025. The Player of the Year, you have Esther Okoronkwo for you. Samson, were you surprised to see her on this list? And also Rasheedat Ajibade for you. Were you surprised to see Esther Okoronkwo on this list?
I'm not. I'm not surprised. You know, when you saw what she did in the last, tournaments and the WAFCON, it further shows what she's capable of doing. Fantastic player, assists, goals. I mean, her presence is always felt on the field of play. That's really interesting, and I mean, it's really nice that she's in the team.
So I'm going to ask you something. Who's picking this award for you?
Well, we have a lot of quality players Barbara Banda is still there, and she actually nicked the last one. So that tells you how good a player she is. Esther Okoronkwo is a new entrant on the log, and Rasheedat Ajibade too just changed the team, got her first goal for our new team just last week. I mean, really interesting setup. But I'm going to go with Barbara Banda again.
That's some piercings in my heart. Trust me, I was expecting maybe Rasheedat Ajibade, but it's fine.
You see,
honestly, guys, that's just a problem with that's the problem with Samson Balogun. He says is just a nationalist or whatnot. Honestly speaking, we need to check your place of birth actually after the show. We're going to do that.
Maybe Zambia.
Maybe Morocco.
Okay, yeah.
Come on, guys. We're going to move on because of our time. Morocco getting the victory. Samson Balogun, first ever one. The last time we had an African team get that one was Ghana. But we have Morocco. We talked about them, on Friday. You look at the trajectory of how Moroccan teams have done. You talked about their project. They're achieving it again this year, for the under-20. We're going to leave you with the highlights for this one. But before we go, Samson Balogun, come on, just take me through the process of the Moroccan team. You look at the team they defeated.
Come on. The last time we talked about it, I said that, Morocco has a chance over Argentina.
You said that.
Regardless of if Argentina won all games. If they let them score 40, 50 goals in the group stage and then to the next phase of the tournament. Morocco were resilient in the tournament.
I agree.
They were creative. They saw challenges and they overcame it. And one thing I saw in their approach to the game, yes, they conceded a few goals, more goals than just one or two more goals than Argentina. But what they were able to do is that they grew as the tournament went on.
You saw
so they
Brazil,
were developing.
Spain, France, USA, Argentina scored 12, conceded 4.
So they were growing as the tournament was going. They were growing. And when you look at the Argentine national team, one of the things that affected them was they were complacent in the final. So they realized, we won all our games and we defeated the African teams that came. So it is safe to say it's just an easy ride for us. But when they started, the first 20 minutes, they knew they were in trouble.
Even after watching the Messi video in 2025?
Yes. So, 2005 against Nigeria.
I laughed when I saw that video.
So, when they realized, in the first 20 minutes, they realized they were playing against Morocco, a different team to the team they had earlier faced in the tournament, well set up, compact in defense, progressive in attack. I mean, these players knew what they were looking for, and they buried what they could see as chances. No, so what I was looking at was the fact that they were complacent. They thought Morocco was going to be a stroll in the park. But when they played 20 minutes, they knew they were. And by that time Morocco they are taking charge of the whole proceedings, and then that was it.
That was it. It's amazing. We're going to leave you with the highlights for that one. Morocco beating Argentina 2-0. But tomorrow is going to be fantastic. We'll be looking at the European football, the Premier League, the German Bundesliga. Fantastic weekend right there. We're going to be discussing more about also Formula 1. We'll be discussing that tomorrow on the show. We say a big thank you for joining us right here on Dominion Sports. Something I want you to leave us with the word motivation, and I will wrap up the show quickly.
Well, as I always say, I love motivating people. So for today, don't go out. Just stay at home and make some money.